to Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hide the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music mixed with living. Rep New York City, but hate the politicians. Always bring the heat, Steph baking in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the word of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world of what he does. Tap in. What up, people? I said, what up, people? Welcome to another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Head of the table out this bitch. In all capital letters. How's everyone doing out there? Hope everybody's doing fine. This is the episode that up until I pressed record, I was still going on in my mind exactly how I was going to approach this. I've talked to my counsel over the weekend, and I've discussed with them or whether or not I was actually going to play the long game, be patient, let things actually work itself out, or would I give my immediate thoughts, my immediate salty thoughts, my immediate hot takes on the subject at hand. We're in the middle of the 2-week lead up to the Super Bowl 58. I've been talking about football for the majority of the football season. I've been talking about the NFL playoffs, damn near the whole postseason. I even had a Hidden Gems football salty edition out this mother effer. So this week, I felt a little empty. I'm looking at the day. I'm like, it's Sunday. What do I normally do on Sunday? Besides, 9 times out of 10, record this podcast. Well, I usually go in my humble abode, and I usually lay down on my couch and prop my Stephatron 6000 on whatever app that I choose to listen to, use to watch, and I'll watch me some football. I'll be damned if I was going to watch me some Pro Bowl flag football. So that wasn't going to work. Also, there was a lot of news that came out this past week, and I double dipped for all y'all who didn't realize. I actually dropped an audio-only edition, an audio-only episode of my world-renowned series, Sprinkle of Salt, this past Friday. Well, technically Friday, Thursday night, late Thursday night, early Friday morning, in which I discussed the latest happenings in the New York Jets and their head coach situation. Matter of fact, their coaching situation. And I gave a little sprinkle of my thoughts on CM Punk's latest injury. That's all I thought I was going to talk about wrestling until Friday night happened. Remember last week, for those who don't remember, or those who didn't tune in, because trust me, my eyes are very keen on digits. I said at the end of the last week's episode that I didn't know exactly what I was going to talk about because this was going to be a very trying week, a very emotional week for me, and I probably would be speaking from my heart. And yeah, that much is true. I got a message of, listen, bro, we don't tune in for your topics. We tune in for you, no matter what topic you choose to speak upon. And sincerely, that really meant a lot to me. So I was going into this weekend like, you know what, I might not even give an episode because my mood has been up and down. Yeah, I'm not doing the wave. I'm not doing the. My mood has been up and down like that. So I was about to say, you know what? This sprinkler is so audio only. Guess what? It's about to double. It's about to double as my representation for this week. And then something happened this past Friday. I was watching SmackDown, WWE SmackDown this past Friday, and the continued fallout from last Saturday's PLE offering from WWE, WWE, the Royal Rumble. We had a nice solid show this past Monday night on Monday Night Raw, and it was supposed to be followed up, and it was followed up with two stellar segments, but the latter segment proved to be more controversial than I believe the company thought it was going to be. They thought it was going to be Blockbuster. Oh yeah, it was Blockbuster, all right. Oh yeah, that's the hint. That if y'all don't want to listen about wrestling, y'all don't want to hear about wrestling, y'all can skip maybe about 30 to 40 minutes. Because after I get off my wrestling kick, I'm going to be speaking from the heart for stuff that actually means way more to me than the wrestling I'm about to talk about. But it still interests me the same. So yeah, this is going to be a wrestling-centric episode, but not totally. Look in the description for the chapters, and you can skip off if you want to. See, I give y'all that option. I could say, yeah, it's going to be this, and then it's going to be that. It's almost similar to what WWE did. So the end of the night, we were supposed to have a decision on who Cody Rhodes was going to choose. And that's the gist of what this episode is going to be about. Not the decision that he made, because to tell you the truth, I don't think he made a decision technically. But everything that sprouted out of that 20-minute segment has spun ramifications throughout the wrestling world, throughout the social media sphere. And I'm going to preface everything I'm going to say on this episode with this statement right here in the intro. Yeah, 8 minutes and 21 seconds in, it's the effing intro. All the fire and brimstone, all of the emotional outburst, all of the actual caring that has gone on since Friday night about 9:57 p.m. Eastern Time. It's all good and dandy. And maybe, just maybe, this lawsuit that's been brought upon WWE wouldn't be such a thing if we cared, or people cared, as much about real life than we do about backstage politics, backstage machinations, power plays, storylines, stories being told, stories being ended. Just maybe, we need to have a little more levity in our level of angst when it comes to what we saw this past Friday night and what we expect in the future. It actually makes me kind of queasy to say, or to actually really give my point of view, or should I say my side that I'm taking in this debate, being the fact we're 4 days in to Black History Month. Now, don't get me wrong. Black History Month is nothing to me. And I know you're like, blasphemy. What do you mean it's nothing to you? Are you not proud to be black? No. No. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. I'm going to go down the line of, yeah, they give us 1 month. Oh, so 1 month is good for us, right? Not only is it 1 month, oh, we get the shortest month out the effing year. Oh, by the way, this year's a loop year. So guess what? I guess our reparations is the extra effing day that we have in February. Happy 29th birthday. Well, happy 29th of February. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean by Black History Month. It's always Black History when it comes to me. So always should be Black History when it comes to overall history. And no, it's not all lives matter. But I'm saying I'm sorry. I've gotten to the age that if I'm not learning or I'm not teaching or I'm not forwarding the legacy of our people every day, and it takes until February 1st for me to be like, ding, 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 then that's a problem. That's just a problem when it comes to me. On top of, you know how many holidays we have to share for this 1 month, this shortest month of the year? Washington's birthday, Lincoln's birthday, President's Day, Valentine's Day, and the most egregious day of all that we have to share on our month, Groundhog's Day, which is kind of apropos because all the things that happen to our people, all the oppression that happens to our people over and 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 over again is similar to Groundhog's Day. The same shit happens every year. And guess what? Even this year, the groundhog didn't even see his own shadow. That's my spiel. So I almost lost train of thought. And tell you the truth, I think I did lose my train of thought. But regardless, that's my thinking on it. So this episode will be me talking about Roman Reigns and his scathing promo, Cody Rhodes and the things that he spoke about in his promo. Just remembered. It makes me a little queasy because of the inside joke that Cody Rhodes actually saved black people. Power to the people. I mean, matter of fact, Cody Rhodes's child that he made with Brandy was the cure for racism. Remember that. So it makes me queasy to see for y'all to see what side I'm actually taking in this debate. But yeah, so we're talking about Roman, we're talking about Cody, we're talking about the return of the People's Champion by name only at this point in time, and that'll be wrestling. And then at the end, last but definitely not least, I got to save the best for last. I would have some poignant thoughts on my first love. And when I say my first love, it's probably not what y'all expecting, but y'all will understand fully when I get to that point. So let's get this shit on the road. Without further ado, good night and goodbye. Bang!
To April 2nd, the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania. The head of the table, our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, defeated the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. All these months later, and listen, we're a fan of both guys. Brad's a fan, you're a fan, I'm a fan. We love these dudes. Huge main event. I think the three of us, Brad included, thought this was definitely going Cody Rhodes' way. It's still a lingering conversation that I see on the timeline. Should he have won? Did they make the right decision? Let's start here, Mike.
Okay.
Big time main event in a shocker, seen and heard around the world. Roman put down Cody in LA. He retained. Question for you. Two, actually.
Okay.
Was this the right move? And are we running this main event back in Philly at WrestleMania 40 this April?
Okay, I'll answer the second question first. Of course, we're running this back. It's Cody's opportunity to finish the story. I know that's become one of those sayings that's on the border, if not, has been overused over the last year, finishing the story. But if you really, all right, as a historian of wrestling, and
Mike, to round out this story, I told you I got a two-part question. I'm gonna add one more wrinkle in here because you did bring up this man's name. You were slick with it. I caught you there. If Dwayne Johnson tells you he is available, he is ready, he is willing, he's not Gable, but he's able to be in Philly. What's that? Lincoln Financial for night 2 of Mania for the Roman match. If Rock is ready to go and he wants to do business, what do you do? Which main event are you choosing? Cody versus Roman or Rock versus Roman? It's big business, Mike.
You know, this is going to shock you. In the current state that WWE is in with multiple main event players, it's like this is the most multifaceted main event picture that they've had in years. I know you're going to look at me and you're going to say this is blasphemous. I'll tell Rock, no, we don't have room. Because anything, this lead up right now, for 2 years running, maybe dare I say 3 years running, everybody thought the end game was going to be The Rock. The Rock wasn't available. So they made do. Not only did they make do, they became a hotter product than they've been in years without The Rock. So now you put The Rock in, you're taking one of your key cogs out of the equation. And I maybe won't have fan backlash, but there'll be a stunted momentum for that quick cash out. So I'll tell The Rock, look, I'm sorry, maybe SummerSlam we can swing back, but WrestleMania can't do it right now. We got too many irons in the fire.
You're telling the people's champ to fall back.
Yes.
Well, our people will call your people if there's a spot for you come August.
Yeah, you know, because there is a returning person that we'll get to later. That, he would have if he wouldn't have came back, and this, like I said, this person will be named later. If he wouldn't have came back, maybe I'd be more open to Rocky coming in. But right now, not Rock. Sorry, look, I was looking for you in 2021, 2022. Yeah, that was a clip from the appearance that I made on my good brothers from GI Winchester and McDowell on Gimmick Infringement in their year-end review over the 5 hottest stories, the five biggest stories of 2023. And one of the stories we was talking about was the main event of WrestleMania 39 last year, in which Cody Rhodes fell to the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, in that main event, where it seemed like it was a fait accompli that Cody was going to finish his story. And that brings us to this year. I guess I need to start from the beginning. Right now, as I speak, and I was going to try to hold off until after tomorrow night's Monday Night Raw, but due to scheduling situations, I was like, look, if I'm going to put an episode out, got to put it out now. So this might be null and void by the end of tomorrow night. I doubt it. As of now, it's looking like it's going to be The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. On the day one episode of Monday Night Raw, The Rock made a surprise appearance, interrupted Jinder Mahal in his promo. After some back and forth, and after vanquishing Jinder Mahal and sending him back scurrying to the backstage area, The Rock wanted to have a little survey with the crowd. He said he was hungry and he was going to get something to eat after the show. But he couldn't decide where he should go. He couldn't decide what restaurant he should go to, and when he decided what restaurant, where he should sit. Should he sit at the bar? Should he sit in a booth? Or should he sit at the head of the table? And everybody, and myself included, ding, 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 ding. For the first time in going on 4 years, he's actually acknowledged Roman Reigns. He's come back sporadically. Even when he came back this past October, he did not mention Roman Reigns, and yet he was actually on Roman Reigns' show. Not once. The first time he actually mentioned him without saying the name, but everybody knew what he was alluding to. So all the rumor mill, okay, The Rock is coming back. The Rock must be in play for a match. He would not have said what he said if there was not a match forthcoming. But this was before the Royal Rumble. So everybody start fantasy booking. Well, maybe The Rock enters the Royal Rumble, and that's how he gets his shot at Roman Reigns, and he goes to WrestleMania to face Roman Reigns. Oh, well, there is a big event, a big PLE in Australia, and that's something that kind of floats his boat of doing something that had never been done. Maybe, just maybe, he'll have his shot against Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia in February. And then the more you start thinking about it, you're like, for a match that big, do you really want it to go live, especially on the East Coast at 5 o'clock in the morning? It's not even has nothing to do with monetarily, because the money's already made. The viewership, the news that's going to be made from such an event. Yes, the actual venue would be good, but everything else didn't line up. So everybody's like, well, maybe Cody's going to be pushed to the side. Maybe he's going to do this, but also the Royal Rumble is in play. Or, depending on his PR hit, maybe, just maybe, this might be a match for our good friends in Saudi Arabia. Right? Then the Royal Rumble comes, and you don't hear nothing about The Rock. Matter of fact, let me backtrack real quick. The week leading up to the Royal Rumble, there was a big business deal between TKO / WWE and Netflix. $5 billion deal for 10 years. Option after 5. Coincidentally, around that time, you know who was added to the board of directors of the TKO organization? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I'm not saying one has anything to do with the other, but it does. So, this is leading up to the Royal Rumble, but you don't hear any. There's still maybe a little scuttlebutt, like, well, maybe The Rock can be a surprise entrance. Royal Rumble comes and goes. Cody becomes the first man in 26 years to win the Royal Rumble back-to-back years. Gives him that extra notch on his belt to continue his march to his rematch. The only way he would get a rematch against Roman Reigns. continue his march to WrestleMania, continue his march to finish his story. Right? You know what happened also at the Royal Rumble? Another person's story was put on temporary pause. And that would be the straight edge Messiah, CM Punk. CM Punk also had a story that he was trying to narrate. He was trying to write and complete. And that was his story of pointing at WrestleMania, at the WrestleMania sign, and actually cementing his place as main eventing WrestleMania. He came up lame toward the end of the match. He injured his tricep. According to reports, he tore it off the bone. He will be missing WrestleMania this year, a mere 2.5 months after his return. He will not be finishing his story this year. So, Monday comes, CM Punk comes out, he says his spiel, pretty much lets it be known, look, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Not gonna be able to do it. And pretty much exits stage left. About an hour later, Seth Rollins, the world heavyweight champion of Monday Night Raw, comes out prior to Cody Rhodes coming out, and he wanted Cody Rhodes to pick him. And he laid down a whole laundry list of reasons why Cody should pick him. Amongst a lot of those reasons was shots at the tribal chief, the head of the real head of the table, Roman Reigns. He said, Cody, wouldn't you want to hold or have a chance to represent the workhorse champion, to be the workhorse champion? Don't you think this is the championship that your father would have been proud to hold? Do you want the Hollywood championship? Do you want the politicking championship? Do you want the championship that's Sid, the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, and Roman Reigns holds, but never defends? He's never here. He politics his way into extending his reign, but who's in this ring night after night after night after night after night? Seth freaking Rollins. He made a compelling case for Cody to pick him, pretty much begging and pleading. I'm the guy. This guy right here. Of course, his meal ticket to main eventing WrestleMania is in doubt because his partner in crime in trying to attain that feat, CM Punk, is no longer available. That means technically he no longer has a credible opponent left besides the name value of Cody Rhodes to attain his dream, which is to main event WrestleMania. Cody says, you have a compelling point, you have some good valid points, and I'll take it under consideration. I'll make my decision Friday. Friday comes. We get to the end of the show, the main event segment. And we have the tribal chief in all his glory. The bloodline in effect. And they come down to the ring. And Roman Reigns is in his arrogant glory. And he said, look, there's a couple things he has to get off his chest. concerning what he heard this past Monday night. And when I say Roman Reigns savagely tore into Seth Rollins with the calm of a contract killer, that would be an understatement. Roman Reigns buried Seth Rollins. First of all, he said, look, Seth is my little brother. But he said it in a way of, no, that's not like, that's my little brother I'm looking out for. It's like, nah, he's not big enough to be at my level. He said, for someone who claims to be such a workhorse champion, it took him 3 months to break his back and do workhorses, walk with a limp, talking about his injury he sustained a couple weeks ago with his torn meniscus and sprained MCL. Okay, you know. But this is where it started getting savage. He said, yeah, this dude talks about, yeah, I hardly ever work, or I have a light schedule. I don't work every night. You know what? He's right about that. I work 10 times less than you do, but I make 10 times more money than you do. So he put it to the audience. Hey, would you rather have Seth Rollins money, or would you rather have Tribal Chief money? And this was all after the first time he mentioned Seth Rollins' name. He said, Seth Rollins. He's like, yeah, you hear that? No pop. Gets no wins over here. Can't be walking around like you that dude. But for the last 2 years, you've been wearing your wife's clothes. And here is the last comment that he said that I think inadvertently is going to bury, well, puts a lot of dirt on Cody Rhodes. And this is before Cody Rhodes came out. He said, look, I'm not going to be out here begging and pleading like that other man. You got a simple choice to choose. Personally, I think you're an idiot, but you got a choice. You can either be the very best number 2 man in this business by picking him and going after that loser bracket title, because every person that battles for that championship, I already beat. Or you could come and try your chance at the best once again. And that's when Cody Rhodes came out. And Cody went down the line and said, look, last year you cheated me. You beat me. No, you cheated me. I had you beat. You know it. And right now, it's more than about taking that title. I want to take everything from you. I want to take your spot. I want to take the title. I want to take everything that you hold near. And after having some counsel, I've decided that I am going to do all those things, just not at WrestleMania. And then all of a sudden you heard, if you smell, and The Rock came out. And when I say I'm looking at this, because I'm looking at the shoot jar, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at this on a 6-inch screen, and my face just went, huh? Wow. They're really gonna do this. Tell you the truth, my face went like that when he said, I'm not gonna do it at WrestleMania. I'm like, so what was the purpose of winning the Royal Rumble? Like, okay, so The Rock comes out. He goes over to Cody. They shake hands. They embrace a little bit. He whispers something in Cody's ears, and you can see the utter disappointment on Cody's face. He's trying to be the bigger man, but you can see the disappointment on his face. And this is where some look at that. Does that look like a man that is truly comfortable with the decision he just made? Does that look like a man that doesn't look like he's been fucked over severely? Does that not look like a man looking at an individual that is telling you all the positive platitudes and pretty much giving you all these compliments, but meanwhile is playing Brutus and twisting an object in your back? Or, or, or more like Game of Thrones reference, slitting your throat right around that hideous looking tattoo and making sure your other side is as red as that hideous tattoo. That looks like a man who's like, wow, you know what? I thought this was going to go differently. Yeah. So The Rock comes out, says what I does what I said he does, and then he goes over to Roman, and they effectively left the episode with a cliffhanger because he goes over to Roman and they go face to face, eye to eye. Now, there's so many things that I want to get into, and I'm going to try to stay on track as much as I can because y'all know I like to bounce around a lot and then come back to everything at the end and tie everything up. But I'm going to try to stay in line and give y'all something something linear. The IWC is in two camps right now. One is say, "Oh, they screwed Cody. Cody's not going to be able to finish his story. Why? Why? Why?" Then there's another camp that says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. Y'all been begging for Roman versus The Rock for years. Now y'all got it, and now y'all bitching and whining." Two things can be true. In that clip that I put in at the very beginning of this segment, I was saying that, and this is before any of this was even a possibility, but I was saying that if The Rock wanted to do it this year, not so fast, my friend. And I know it's easy for you to say that, like, hold on, what are you talking about? Look, The Rock wants to do something and he got the time, then you allow him to do it. I understand. And trust me, things have changed. He's now on the board of directors. Most importantly, to be blunt, with all that, with the allegation, with the lawsuit, with all the information that's come out against Vince McMahon and the sexual harassment, the sexual misconduct, and everything going around with John Laurinaitis. Now he's saying he's a victim, and the whole nine. PR wise, do you not know that this is the oldest trick in the book? you put the nice shiny object in front of the masses and let them look at that while you try to fix everything behind. And this is actually way beyond fixing, but for a majority of the population, they'll be enamored by the bright shining object. That's number one. Number two, The Rock has so many connections right now. He is so connected to the company that pretty much right now what he says goes, because the company is in such, I won't say disarray, but it's in a votable state of, look, if we can get this positive PR, and now there's being questions. People are questioning the validity of what Triple H, what Paul Levesque has known or hasn't known, and he didn't do himself any favors by how he handled the press conference last week, and he's pretty much the face. Well, who can we possibly replace that face with, at least temporarily, with something more tangible? The Rock. Oh, by the way, the president, Mr. Nick Khan in The Rock. I like this. The Rock being on the board effectively makes him above the majority, well, above anybody else in WWE. It effectively makes him right now the face of their company in a time where they need a positive PR. We're not talking about us as wrestling fans. We're talking about the business world. We're talking about the mainstream. And yeah, this has seeped into the mainstream a little bit. But you think TKO Holdings really give a fuck about how we think, how we feel at the ground level right now, when their main concern is trying to make sure that everything they have lined up or everything they have potentially lined up stays according to plan? Because it's very easy for Netflix to be like, you know what? Y'all too hot. We're investing $5 billion into y'all. Y'all too hot. We ain't messing with y'all. They haven't done that. Tell you the truth, I think during one of the conferences that they had with the acquisition, one of the executives of Netflix was asked a certain question. They pretty much blunt like, Vince McMahon don't work there no more. So, other words, whatever he has going on has shit to do with us. That man has nothing to do with us. That man doesn't have nothing to do with that company. He is a shareholder. I'm quite sure they'll buy him out very quick. She didn't say that, but I'm quite sure that is the case. And I'm quite sure, and like I said, I'm not trying to get too deep into it, but I'm quite sure there's going to be a house cleaning sooner than later. And maybe this is one of the first steps of this house cleaning of, there's a power vacuum, and guess who's going to plug that vacuum right now? And that's Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But keeping things on a wrestling level, this actually has been a story upon itself. Roman Reigns' whole reign as the head of the table, the tribal chief, the one bringing his bloodline to prominence in this industry, is a story that started before Cody even thought about coming to WWE. This story started in August 2020 when he looked over and the camera panned to Paul Heyman. And he said, no, that's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. It started then. Everything, especially the first people, this story has been going on so long that people forgot the very, very origin of the story was family. The pressures that Roman had gone through over the years, the rejection after rejection after rejection, even now, happening in Philly brings everything full circle to the first rejection Roman Reigns ever received from the WWE audience, and that goes back to 2015 in the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia, where he won that Royal Rumble. He was cascaded with boos. The Rock came out to help him, try to endorse him, and guess what? The Rock's ass got booed down too. The people's eyebrow went up like, whoa, what the dude, I can't help you. Yo, what did you do to these people? It goes back to back then. Then you fast forward 5 years of rejection, of bitterness, and Roman, after he took his break at the very beginning of the pandemic for health reasons, and the reason why he took his break or was convinced to take his break was because Jimmy and Jay told management, and told Roman, what the fuck are you doing? You're vulnerable. This shit ain't tight. Go home. You got enough pull. Go home. Handle your business. Take care of your family. You're just recovering from leukemia. And when he came back, in his mind, and not even in his mind, in his actions, I'm going to take care of those who took care of me. Fuck everybody else. And for that, I will always salute Roman for that. He brought up his cousins, Jimmy and Jay. Jay was the right-hand man. Jay was main event Jay Uso, who he remains today as. Jimmy, with his goofy ass, was leveled up too. Got his stuff together, and now see where he's at. They brought the little cuz up. He's a prominent member of the bloodline. One of wrestling's royal families. The lineage goes back decades. This has been a long form story. People forget that. People forget that because the last year is kind of veered off track, at least in my point of view. But the origin has always been family. And who was the big Oos? The last domino to be taken down, the last domino that needs to show respect to your tribal chief? You get it. The Rock. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to continue. Do y'all really think that The Rock is going to beat Roman Reigns? Do y'all really think that? Now, trust me, anything is possible. But do y'all think that story is going to end the way y'all think it's going to end? That people fear that it's going to end, as in The Rock holding up the championship and Roman being vanquished by The Rock after almost 4 years? The Rock, the scalp of The Rock, the victory over The Rock is the last Infinity Stone. The last one. Then he becomes unstoppable, inevitable, until Captain America himself, the American Nightmare, whoa, comes through that portal and puts it into the ring. I get it. Like I said, I get all the reasons why this has to be done now. Do I like how it's been set up? No, not at all. But if I take a step back, which I have for the last 2 nights, if I take a step back and really put the pieces of the puzzle together in my head with the limited information that I'm reading and not really getting so caught up in the manure of wrestling Twitter, the manure of the IWC angst, I can put things together and like, you know what? I get it. Might not like it, might not feel it's the correct thing, personally, but I get it. Now, is Cody's story finished? This is another thing that I've been seeing and trying to stay away from. The story, the story, the story, the story. Even he has admitted that he's kind of tired of hearing about the story. This story can be different chapters in the story. And once again, I will refer you to the episode that I did with Tyler McDowell on gimmick infringement, in which I said, this is similar, as in the heartbreak is similar to what his father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, dealt with in his numerous runs at Immortality, his numerous runs at the World Championships, the Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Championship. Every time he had it in his grasp, it slipped. Even the time that he achieved that long-awaited goal, it was fleeting. He had a reign of 5 days in which he beat Harley Race and lost it back to Harley Race. 1979. He had a reign of, I believe, 2 months in 1981, where he beat Harley Race once again and lost to the Nature Boy Ric Flair for Ric Flair's first reign as NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Starrcade 85, where he wined and dined with kings and queens and slept in the alley and ate pork and beans. You know, the promo, Hard Times. Hard Times was Dusty Rhodes' middle name. Everybody thought that Dusty Rhodes, after getting his leg broke by the Andersons and Ric Flair in that cage, in the Omni, that September night in Atlanta, that it was a fait accompli, that he was going to vanquish and achieve his goal of being NWA World Heavyweight Champion at Starrcade 85, The Gathering. And guess what? He had it until he did it. He didn't achieve that goal of beating Ric Flair for that championship until 7 months later, damn near 8 months later, at the American Bash in Greensboro, North Carolina. And you know how long he lasted as NWA World Heavyweight Champion in the summer of 1986? I want to say 18 to 21 days. And he immediately relinquished the championship back to the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And that was the last sniff that he ever got of a World Heavyweight Championship. So, unfortunately, it's in the lineage of Cody Rhodes to not succeed the first time, not succeed the second time either. Remember, what doomed his AEW run to me was he had one shot at the championship at the very, very beginning. And he said, guess what? If I don't beat you for that championship, I will never wrestle for that championship ever again. He stayed true to his word, but after that, he was kind of directionless because the one thing that I'm quite sure he aspired to be, he could never be. So what the fuck am I here for? He said upon his return, he wanted the belt that eluded his father, that his father held but never formally held. And that's the belt held by Roman Reigns. He never said, oh, I want that belt and I need to beat you for that belt at WrestleMania. That was never in the cards. It's just the biggest show. And this year, the avenging of the loss of last year's WrestleMania made it convenient. And, actually winning the Royal Rumble, which guarantees you a main event match against the champion of your choosing at, guess what, WrestleMania. But all of that has nothing to do with his actual story. I did see this bantered about on Twitter. And it's possible, it would make sense a little bit, that maybe they could have some type of special event, because he continuously says that night at Madison Square Garden, the night that my father held the championship at Madison Square Garden. Makes you wonder, do we have an event coming up this year at Madison Square Garden that maybe Cody can kill two birds with one stone and actually complete the full story? Possible. I want to give credit where credit is due for where I read that out. I want to believe it's Lovely Laveau on Twitter. I was reading one of the threads and I'm like, you know what? That's possible. That's possible. And listen, I'm not a hater, I'm a congratulator. So if I see something that makes sense and I repeat that on this platform, I'm gonna give kudos. So salute. But yeah, is Cody's story finished? I'll tell you one thing, his story is not beating Seth Rollins, especially after that burial that Roman Reigns did. Roman Reigns pretty much said that's a loser championship. That's a loser's bracket. That's for all the second best people. So you want to be the best of the second best? Go ahead. By all means, take that. So Cody ending night one holding up the World Heavyweight Championship, a title that he kind of said, he'd take in consideration, and then he confirmed on SmackDown that no, that's the belt that I want. Him facing Seth is a letdown. Him beating Seth, tell you the truth, does harm to both of them. Cody, upon his return, beat Seth not once, not twice, but 3 times. Do we really need a fourth? He already beat him at WrestleMania. Do we need Seth to lose 2 times at WrestleMania to the same opponent? To an opponent that he has never beaten? What does that do with Seth? After that, you might as well just throw Seth out with the bathwater. Because any strength that he has gained over the last year, especially the last year as World Heavyweight Champion, is effectively null and void if he loses to a guy he didn't even respect your title enough to say, you know what, I'm going to take you on first chance. No, I'm going to go over here and see what's popping over here. And damn, all right, well, I'll let old dog come over here and I gave him that, so I'm gonna come back over here and take that shit from you. That puts Seth to the side. Now, also, if Cody beats Seth, right? Take Seth out the equation right now. Cody beats Seth and becomes World Heavyweight Champion. How is he supposed to get to Roman Reigns unscathed? You're not going to combine the titles. You're not going to unify the title, because that's the whole reason why the World Heavyweight Championship was created, because everything was combined into this Uber belt for Roman Reigns, and there was nothing left for the Red Baron. So you're not going to combine it. Are you going to have Cody lose it? All right, if he loses it, why would Roman give him a rematch? Like, dude, you couldn't even last being the second best, the best of the second best. Why am I going to give you a chance to sully my reputation? Crumbs. Or do you actually have Seth beat Cody at WrestleMania? I think you can actually get away with that. Here's how. Cody is it's almost like a play on a storyline that they did not execute correctly when John Cena lost to The Rock that first year, and his career was supposed to be falling apart, but yet every match he won, every big match he won, every big match he was in, he won. But yet it was the hardest year of his career, because he couldn't get over that loss to The Rock. No. You have Cody so thrown off by him not being as focused as he would have liked to be, or he being so focused on what's going on over there that he didn't keep his eye on the ball, and Seth beats him. That legitimizes Seth as a champion. It legitimizes Seth as, okay, I do have one on you. You're not shutting me out for the zip. And you can effectively have even more turmoil, even more vulnerability to Cody's story. Not only did he fail last year at WrestleMania, he failed this year after being the magnanimous one and allowing The Rock to handle some family business. That's also a way. I'm not going to go into any more fantasy booking, but I don't know. Now, why did this happen? Meaning, why did this change happen? I'll say it like this. There's a couple of reasons. One, you had the injury to CM Punk. Now, there are articles, I believe there's one article by Ray Keller of the PW Torch that said the information that he received was that The Rock was pushing for this match hard, and that The Rock had actually got granted this match. So it was going to be The Rock versus Roman, and if CM Punk didn't get hurt, it was going to be CM Punk versus Seth. But to me, where does that leave? Where would that have left Cody? Also, like I said, maybe this back-to-back win was a way to placate Cody, in him knowing that he was not going for his destiny, or what he thought he was destined to be, which was a rematch at the Show of the Immortals. Maybe, just maybe, because you remember, if anybody was paying attention, at that post Royal Rumble scrum, Cody said that this was a very hard week that he had just went through, and he thanked everybody for them being there for his support. He said nothing too serious, nothing health related really, but it was a very hard and trying week. That leads me to wonder if perhaps he knew going into that Royal Rumble, these are the plans that's laid out. Him being a company man, and that's why he actually made a point in that scrum and said, listen, with the title, without the title, I am the man in this company. I am the go-to person in this company. I am the one that comes day in and day out. I don't have to have a belt to be the man. I paraphrased it, but that's pretty much what he was saying. And now that actually leads me to wonder, he said that combined with the trying week of, yeah, maybe, just maybe, this was in place, and maybe the Rock was like, I don't need to risk myself in the Royal Rumble. No, we could just do it this way. Is there another domino to fall? Did the CM Punk injury make it easier? Because on the other end, you could say, well, you had CM Punk and Seth, and you had Cody and Roman. There was no spot for The Rock. The Rock really didn't want to wait until next year. And then when there was an injury, it was like, well, swap him over there, and now I got my spot. I mean, y'all gonna try to make me wait? Nah. Because there was a little undercurrent of maybe they were gonna do something like they did with The Rock and Cena and announce it, and let's say at this year's WrestleMania, and have that underlying current run all the way until next year's WrestleMania. That's a little far-fetched to me because I didn't see that happening, because there's too many things that can happen in the year. Like, if you have the opportunity for The Rock, I guess you got to take it. People be damned. Also, there's the added benefit of, like I said earlier, that this could potentially, for the mainstream, take some of the negative media that they're receiving with the backlash on the Vince McMahon thing and say, you know what? Look, well, we got The Rock. Just maybe that's part of it. Like I said, the shiny fruit, the shiny toy. Or it could be all of the above. Like Bruce's Millions. All of the above. Could be that too. This is going to be an interesting next 7 days. I believe that this press conference that's scheduled for Thursday in Vegas for the kickoff of WrestleMania 40, I believe that pretty much confirms that it's going to be The Rock and Roman. Will Cody be present at that press conference? I don't know. I mean, shoot. That's quite a thank you for being able to answer a question that, tell you the truth, is above his pay grade, better than the person that answered the question without answering the question and just said everything. When the question was asked, what, if anything, has been put in place to make sure that the situation that arose will never happen again? And Triple H said everything, just everything. Like I don't know what the fuck you want me to say. Everything, like, duh, you figure it out. Nah, motherfucker, it was your chance. It was you had an opportunity to either say no comment. I have to pass that over to legal. I'm not privy to that information at this point in time, or I'm not allowed to talk about those things at this point in time without legal counsel, or actually give a legitimate answer. But him saying everything, just everything, just everything. We're committed to everything. By you saying you're committed to everything, that means you're committed to nothing. Yeah. So, and when it comes to The Rock, and I'm going to leave it off with this. Can you smell the bullshit? The Rock, to me, this reeks of everything we've read, everything we've heard about The Rock on certain film shoots. You know, the intercast feud that he's had with the cast from Fast and Furious, how he went over to that franchise and pretty much took it over. Same thing with the Black Adam situation where it was supposed to be set up for one thing and he wanted to change it for another thing, and then he pretty much wanted to rewrite everything to make him the adversary for Superman, the whole nine. And I get it. When you're The Rock, why should you play second fiddle to anything or anybody? I get it. To a certain degree, he's earned that. I'm not going to say, like I said, I'm not going to say whether it was right or wrong for this to be the way it ended up. I would just say this. If I'm The Rock, and trust me, I wish I was The Rock and I would not be in this humble abode. But if I'm The Rock, especially this coming week, especially at that press conference, and especially in his appearances leading up to WrestleMania, he better be on his A game. And not A game as in, look, I'm The Rock and I do what I want to do, or I'm The Rock and this is what gets over. No, to me, he really needs to be on his A game to lead beyond a shadow, no, to lead beyond a shadow of a doubt that he truly is the great one, and not the great ego. I, like I said, I admire everything that this means. I admire everything this means for Roman Reigns. I admire that Roman Reigns has put everything together these last couple years, and I'm quite sure with some counsel from The Rock of, listen, big dog, you're the man. Carry yourself as such. And take care of the family. And to me, Roman's gone above and beyond of taking care of his family. Family first. That's what we the ones are. I just hope, I hope like hell that The Rock does not rue the day that he decided to come back, and hopefully it does not tarnish his legacy. Because nowadays everybody's out for a quick take, everybody's out for a hot take, everybody remembers the last thing they saw, not the long list of things leading up to the last thing that they saw. So it's up to you. It's up to you. Be right back. All right. That's it for the wrestling portion of this podcast. This picture that you see on the screen right now, I was looking through my phone for numerous pictures. And this picture reminds me of so many things. That is a picture of my oldest son. I want to say he was at that time two and a half. That was taken early 1998. That's my picture of my late son Nakai. Um, Look at that cheese smile. He loved that sippy cup. He loved that high chair. That's me in the background. That is me in the background. Um, looking dour. But I titled this segment because this is actually the first time. This is the first time that I've done an episode around the anniversary of his passing in video. And I was actually debating on whether or not I was going to do such, or if I did such, whether I was going to use pictures and so forth. And at first I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep it audio. Then I'm like, no. I really wanted to let the world see my son in various stages. My first love. My son Nakai was truly my first love. Love at first sight. I missed his birth by about 25 minutes, half hour. I was working out in Jersey City. I was working in Jersey City, and this is the age of beepers. My son's birthday was July 1995, and I wasn't driving at the time. I was 18. He was born 8 days before my 19th birthday. So I got the beep, 911, call. I got to fish around, look for a payphone, get some quarters, call. Long distance, of course. What happened? Oh, you're in labor. Okay, I'm on my way. So I take the PATH train to the regular train, and then I had a bike, and I rode the bike to the hospital, the old Long Island College Hospital, downtown Brooklyn. And had to have one of my wife's aunts watch the bike for me while I went upstairs. And I go upstairs and I see them rolling her out the room and like, okay, it's time, right? And she's like, you late. He's here about 20 minutes ago. So I go in to the nursery and I see him. And as soon as I saw his eyes, as soon as my eyes saw him, it's love at first sight. When I say, especially when he was younger, I took him everywhere. Everywhere. I took him to the old billiard place in the village, right off Houston and Broadway. He had to be about, I want to say about two-ish. Had him in the stroller. Me, my brother-in-law, my cousin went to play billiards. I would take him to my job. Sometimes he'd get thirsty. He explains a lot. I would give him some iced coffee, put it in the bottle. Yeah, look, I'm a young kid. I'm a young parent. Shoot, my son thirsty. I'm not thinking about, oh, that's coffee. No, I'm thinking about that's something to drink. Got milk. Got nutrients. Yeah, I took him everywhere. I used to have him on my neck. Like when he outgrew the carrier, and I didn't feel like dealing with the stroller because he was walking or whatever. Sometimes we get tired. I wouldn't hold him, so I just have him on my neck. And he used to like riding on my shoulders. And then sometimes he'd be on my shoulders and he'd fall asleep and he just on my shoulders. That's probably why I have neck problems to this day. Now his brother, Chef Mix, his silly butt, he would get up there, but he didn't want to hold on. He would just to the point I'm like, you know what? Now you gotta walk. But I digress. that picture that I showed. This is one. I'm going to tell a couple stories. That'll probably be the best way I could do it. Get through this. That was his favorite spot. That was in our living room at the time, and he would sit on the high chair. He knew at that time he knew how to put the high chair together. He would sit on the high chair. He would have a lot of times he'd have a bowl of cereal, a bowl of Cheerios, no milk, just a bowl of Cheerios. Love Cheerios, and a sippy cup full of milk. Our son was so independent. Like once he started walking, and once he was able to climb himself out the crib, because he would climb out the crib. He would climb out the crib, and he was so independent. What we would do is we would leave a bowl of Cheerios and his sippy cup full of milk in the refrigerator. And he knew the routine. He would get up. He wouldn't even wake us up. He would get up, climb out the crib, go in the kitchen, open the refrigerator, get his bowl, get his sippy cup, either sit on the couch or get in the high chair, put the table together, and commence the eating, watching channel 13, big comfy couch until me or his mother would wake up. That's how independent he was. Another story. Oh, matter of fact, before I get to that, this high chair was actually the scene of one of the funniest things I've ever heard from a child. So it was, I don't know what number Super Bowl, but pretty much it was the Super Bowl in which it was Green Bay versus Denver. So I had a couple people over for a Super Bowl party, which I won't even get into because that was probably the last time I had people over for a Super Bowl party. That was 20 years ago, 26 years ago. So a friend of mine came over and he was driving whatever, so he had some pants. Now, my son used to pronounce words funny. So when he would try to say pants, sometimes he'd say pitch. Look at the pinch. Look at the pinch. Look at the pitch. But the way he said it, it sounded like he said, look at the bitch. Look at the bitch. Look at the bitch. So me and my wisecracking ass. So my friend was like, who are you talking to? I was like, you're talking to you. He's like, and I was like, you see, even my own son know you a bitch. And, you know, looking back, I'm like, I wonder did he know exactly what he was saying? But yeah, but he would always say he would say that like he was pronounced pish. Can I have some pish? Can I have some pish, please? I want some pish. Yeah, it's funny. He never liked pasta. He loved chicken, but he never liked pasta. He never liked spaghetti. Never liked lasagna. Never liked ravioli. Just never liked it. Never liked it. Another story actually has some which includes my brother Cool, my late brother Cool. Now, you always hear the saying, you got to learn how to walk before you run. Not for my son. My son will try to run before he learned how to walk. So you would lift him up and his legs are just like, not just wild all over the place, but like in a running position. So my brother, one time he's holding him and Kai's just, and my brother puts him down on the ground. And he caught a couple steps, boy. I was like, whoa, what you doing? He was like, you see, he had a couple steps. I'm like, but he fell. He's like, oh, my bad. He's like, I thought he was just going to keep his balance. He thought something like one of those which go one of those toys that you pull the string out and you just. It's funny because when we got older, when he got older, he would always call his Uncle Drew, Mark Henry. Could he say he resembled Mark Henry because my brother cool, he was big, dark skin, had chinky eyes. So he was like, "Yo, what up, Mark Henry?" His Uncle Rube be like, "Stop playing me, the guy. Stop playing me." All right, Mark Henry. Stop playing. Oh, real strongest man. um, yeah, it was, and plus you couldn't tell my son nothing, especially if he had an outfit that he liked. Couldn't tell him anything. Like, look at this. Now, this was maybe summer before he passed. They were in Jersey. It was him, his brother, um, two other friends. They spent a couple of days out there, South Jersey, and took a picture. And he like, yeah, get my good side. Make sure the sun is glistening off me. You know, whenever you got that hand on his chin, you knew he was feeling himself, but rightfully so. Now, this is another picture. It was him and his brother. I don't know which called Chef Mix was probably just acting silly, but look at that pose. Couldn't tell me my boy didn't know he was a model. It's like, yeah, catch me on all my glory. See this jacket? See this leather jacket? Look at the reflection coming off my Adidas. Yeah, he loved himself some Adidas. This picture right here. This was him with his oldest son, my oldest grandson, Jameer. I want to say someone's telling me I think it might have been Jameer's birthday, maybe his third birthday. Now, everybody knows that kids are so advanced nowadays. Their memory even more so. A lot of people can't remember past before 2 or 3. My grandson remembers everything. Like he has such a memory of his father, probably because of moments like this. He loved his father to death. And my son loved his children for eternity. Just that look of, yeah, look at my little man. Yeah. It's times like that I try to hold on to. Um this is be be the third year, and I'll be honest with you, this year has probably hit me the hardest of the prior ones for various reasons. Think the initial, I was just in shock. Like people ask how me and my wife, how we stay strong. First and foremost is the Lord above that we stay strong for.
Amen.
Also, each other, like us knowing that we have each other, we stay strong for that, and we stay strong for our remaining family because we have to. But that strongness does that does, I won't say wear on you, but it can really be hard. It's it drains you. Like, I'll be honest, this week leading up, this past week, um, it's been probably one of the hardest weeks I've had in months. Like I've discussed in um, previous episode about my anxiety problems, what have you. Like, this week has been hard. Um, Only difference is now when symptoms come up, I can kind of pinpoint it. Like, okay, I know why, or yeah. But also, this time, I think this is the first time that everything is raw. I have nothing to mute it. I have nothing to blunt it. I have nothing to distract me from. I have nothing. Just like this, the first time I'm feeling everything, and I'm I'm learning that it's okay. It's okay to. I mean, as much as I say, yeah, it's okay. It's one thing to say it. It's one thing to believe it, and then it's one thing to feel it. And I'm slowly feeling of the. It's okay to feel the way I feel. I can't take it as a step back. I can't take it as, oh my God, my growth is being stunted. No, it's part of the growth. It's part of the journey. Like, there's no time limit. Shoot, 20, 30 years from now, I will still feel the same way, as in the missing of my child, the longing for my child. So, one last story. Um, I want to say probably less than a year before he passed. He's up here for a weekend. Well, yeah, down here for a weekend because he was living upstate. Down here for a weekend, and he went to a friend house, and he had a couple too many. Listen, by the time he was an adult, and which girl, he was like, "Dad, which girl, can you do me a favor? Can you come pick me up? And I'm over such and such." I'm like, and I used to always get him like, "Yo, I'm not no effing Uber. Like, don't be calling me. Yo, can you take me here? Can you take me? Can you take me there? Like, nah, we ain't doing that. Especially after a certain time. Like, if it's something kid related, something for the kids, something for the grand, okay. But everything else, look, you maneuver." But something told me, I was like, I looked at the time, I was like, you know what? I think F it. I was like, all right, give me the address, I'll come pick you up. So go pick him up. And like I said, he had a couple. And he's like, yo, Dad, I love you. I just want to let you know, which go, how much I love you, how much which go, I appreciate you, how much you taught me. Because me and my son, we we really bonded. I mean, I believe I was close with all my children, but we really bonded once he had a child, and then it kind of manifested itself of, now I know why Pops used to do X, Y, Z, or Pops used to feel this way about X, Y, Z. Now I understand, because now I have one. Now I have a child that I have to instill that, instill that into them. So he's going. He's telling me all these things. I'm like, which I'm letting him talk. So I'm thinking I'm driving home. And he's like, yeah, I need you to drop me off at the club. Didn't I tell you I'm not no fucking Uber? He's like, but Dad, nah. I'm like, I thought I'd pick you up to come home, come to the house. He's like, nah. No, I'll give you $20. I'm like, it's not about the money. I don't want the money. Dad, take the money. I don't want the money. Dad, take the money. I don't want the money. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take him to the club. Get in front of the club. He's still trying to take this $20. Put it for gas. You need gas. My tank is full. Well, put it in the headrest and and you'll have it for later. Or go get yourself something to eat. I said, Kai, I'm okay. He's like, I'm not getting out the car until you take the $20. I said, boy, if you don't get out my car, it's like, I'm not getting out the car. Now, mind you, now I'm backing up traffic. He coming out the window. Yo, go around, talking to my pops. Don't honk your horn, talking to my pops. So I was like, Kai, get back in the car. He gets in the car. So I drive around the corner figuring, all right, get out everybody's way, get around. Just so happened, he's like, all right, take 20. I'm like, and I'm taking $20. He was like, all right, give me a kiss. I'm like, Kai, if you don't get out of my car. He said, I'm not going nowhere until you give me a hug and a kiss. I'm like, stop playing with me. I'm not playing with you. I'm not going nowhere. Sure enough, now this time we're on a one-way street. Somebody's honking. He's like, I'm talking about pops. I'm like, if you're calm down. So I give him a kiss on his forehead. I'm like, you happy? Yeah, I'm happy. I'll see you later. And he goes out the car. I'm like, this freaking boy. Yeah. Yeah, he loved everybody. He's always warm-hearted, big-hearted. One last story, especially his sisters, but one last story. I think he was about 9-10 years old. This is right before Main Event K was born. So my wife, Mrs. Oo, she would have cravings. And y'all do know that pregnancy cravings for the fathers get pregnancy cravings as well. I could tell you, for Kai, my cravings we used to have the chicken spot down the way, and I used to get cheeseburger and fries from the chicken spot for that particular chicken spot. For Mikey, Chef Mix, it was Turkey Hero from this particular store. Turkey Hero, turkey with mayonnaise, salt, pepper, vinegar, oil. For I think it was chicken spot for Mia too. I don't remember exactly what it was for Mia. If she's watching this, which she never does, but she's watching, she's going, really, Dad? You can't remember your craving? I'm sorry, I couldn't. But for Kayla, for Main Event K, Nathan's used to have these lobster. Matter of fact, Nathan's, the original Nathan's in Coney Island, used to have these lobster sandwiches. Now, not the real lobster sandwiches like they have now, the lobster rolls, but still the same thing. Lobster patty. And I had a craving for those. So back then, when it's summertime, Nathan's would stay up until 2-3 o'clock in the morning. So I would get off work and we would load up the car. Yo, I got a craving for Nathan. Y'all want to come? Come on, let's go. And we take everybody to Nathan's, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I get them what they want, hamburger, hot dog, what have you. I get my lobster sandwich. Babe, what did you used to eat from Nathan's when I used to get my craving for the lobster sandwiches for Kayla? All right, my wife just told me she used to get the frog legs from Nathan's. Like I said, these are cravings. But we went out there based on my cravings. My wife didn't say, "Oh, I need some frog legs." I'm like, "Babe, I need a lobster sandwich." Anyway, So we get out there and we're standing, we're standing outside, we're eating the stuff before we're about to go back in the house. And my son sees this homeless guy and he just got real sad. I'm like, Kyle, what's the matter? Matter of fact, he started crying. I said, Kyle, what's the matter? He was like, he points to the homeless guy. I said, what's the matter? He said, I think he's hungry. I said, okay. He said, yeah, I want to give him my food. I'm not gonna lie. My insensitive ass like, fuck you mean giving your food? I just paid $15. Well, paid $10 for that burger. I'm gonna get him something to eat. He's like, no, I want to give him my burger. So I said, that's what you want to do. And I keep an eye because, like, look, I'm not listen. Anyway, so he walked over and he asked the guy, he's like, are you hungry? Like I said, my son is like 9, 10 years old. Matter of fact, he's 10, going on 11. Went to the guy, he's like, you hungry? Look, I wish you can have my burger and fries. And the guy took it, said thank you, looked at us, and and that brought happiness to my son. Like, listen, all right, I'm able to forego this. I'm able to go back home and get something. I'm able for my pops to go buy me another one. But that's a person in need. And that was always his mentality. His mentality especially with his boys. It's not about me. It's about him. It's about them. And that would have been his mentality if he was here, because he passed away before his daughter was born. That would have been the mentality for him, for her also. Like, look, I had my time in the sun, or I'll have my time in the sun later. They shine makes me shine. It's not about me. And that's the lasting um, feeling that I have for my son, is always thinking about others before himself. Always very family orientated. And there was nothing he wouldn't do for his children, nothing he wouldn't do for his family, nothing he'd do for his brother, his sisters, his mother, or his pops. So he was my first love. And I would love him until the day I'm no longer able to, meaning I cease to exist. And then I will love him in the afterlife. I love you. Love you all my heart. And these times are very hard, but I know you wouldn't want us to give up, so we do not give up. We just try to do the best we can, and we try to make sure that your legacy carries on in your children, in our grands. I'm going to need a minute. That brings us to the end of another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me in this here podcast the one y'all choose to view and the one y'all choose to listen to. Next week is Super Bowl weekend, Super Bowl Sunday. So, I'm going to say I won't be getting an episode until Monday, but tell you the truth, that's the day that y'all normally get this episode. This episode just happened to be early, because why not? So being the fact that, my other entity, Hidden Gems Football, hosted by the Mojo King and myself, Mike Steph. New episodes drop every Thursday. Where's this week's episode? I don't know, but just keep on checking the 19 Media Group YouTube channel, and I'm quite sure it'll appear as soon as possible. Hopefully there's no technical difficulties. Hopefully it's not the reason. I'm not the reason, but trust and believe. Hidden Gems Football, hosted by the Mojo King and myself, Mike Steph. New episodes drop each and every Thursday. And this next week's episode will be the last episode of the season. We don't do recap shows. We do preview shows. So being the fact that we don't do recap shows, I guess next week's edition of the Salty Daughter Mike Steph podcast will be a Super Bowl recap of the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Check me out on X at Mike Steffens _. Check me out on the gram at Mike _Steph. And check me out on TikTok at Mike Steph _. The Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast is available. The audio version is available on the following platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music, amongst others. New episodes of the audio version drop each and every Wednesday. And yes, indeed, for the beginning of the year, I have been true to that. I haven't gone this long in a while, but so what? Y'all gonna like it? Yeah, I say y'all gonna love it. Normally, this would be around the time that I would do something really insane, something that would elicit a laugh, or just some real silly shit to exit out the episode on. But I'm going to choose not to, because I'm not. I think it would actually give this episode it would be a disservice to this episode. But what I am going to do is I'm going to end this episode with a freestyle that I recorded a couple of days after my son passed. It's called Settle for the Memories. And I would just advise y'all just to keep your ears open and listen. And yeah, just listen, because comes from my heart, comes from my soul. So with all that being said, I will bid you adieu. I will check y'all out next week. Same Mike Steph time, same Mike Steph channel, for the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. Goodbye.
Seven.
I need to understand that this is part of the plan. The pain feels surreal, my son ran out of sand. I'm only half of what I am. You started my growth from the first time I saw you. Your life was my hope. I'm only writing this cause I need the vent to let out. But I had the motivation longer be the best out. Anger bubbling, emotion doubling, the left foot fuddle. Usually a point, but this time neglect is into trouble. Red flags were there, should've sent the flare. Maybe the one in the head just didn't see or didn't hear. My worst fear realized the fuck did this happen. I'm just writing this shit down, this ain't really rapping. My number one companion, my ace since birth, the foundation of it all. You started my roof. Now I really feel cursed. Black cloud, 13 my favorite number. Whatever I'm feeling now, triple it. When it turns to summer longer, well, I wonder how low can I go? Always bet the unbelieving, living in the box, wasting time for getting dumber and getting number, which isn't the best. I need to really settle down before I'm drowned by this mess. I got other deeds to live for, but it's hell on earth for me. Tired but grateful, broken turns, it don't want no sympathy. I just want that one thing that's my son right next to me. Instead I have to fucking settle on the fondest memories. Man, that's what I have to keep me sane. That's what I have to keep me partially whole. Are the memories. The oh so sweet memories. I love you more than words can say, more than actions can match. Just want to do your memory proud.
Sevam bere daraz vesan Yergün ki pera obli panan Dar gudnere zagzo geti Hotelov sirdet